Yeah. So hello, good morning everybody. My name is Filippo Favilli. I work at EURAC Research, Bolzano, Italy. And today I would like to introduce you just briefly the activities we are doing in the DINALP Connect project about in this case, the combination of the GIS analysis of connectivity with the SWOT in the pilot regions of the project. So the overall project objective, in very few words, is to strengthen the transnational and sectoral cooperation to improve ecological connectivity throughout the Dinaric mountains and connecting them with the Alps. In the long-term protection, also in view of climate change, is the first project that aims at doing this, at checking this connection between the Alps and the Dinaric mountains, and of course throughout all this area. This is just briefly the structure of the project in three main work packages, and the things that are square are those that I will touch in my talk, just again very briefly. So first of all, this is the list of the project partners. So we are 11 partners from all the countries of the Dinaric area, and we have 4 pilot regions at transnational level, one between Italy and Slovenia, one Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and one between Albania and Greece. Of course, with different needs, with different landscapes, with different people, and this is also one of the main challenges of these projects. So to analyze connectivity not only from an ecological point of view, but as we said also in the previous talk, to involve as much people as possible. And that's why we decided to have this SWOT approach. Why the SWOT? Because as we said, connectivity is not only ecological based, but it's a really cross-scale of social, ecological interactions. Sometimes it's really mainly social issue than an ecological thing. Because so many people, so many stakeholders are involved, and we have to take them into account. So the SWOT analysis, you all know what the SWOT is. I'm not going to do it to say what it is, but we involved the stakeholder from the preliminary stage of this decision-making process. So they were involved at the beginning of the project to know how they see ecological connectivity and how this according to them, will impact or is impacting on their daily life, on their work. We wanted to look at the future potential of these pilot regions and, of course, promoting the human-nature coexistence. We wanted to identify all the ecological, social, economic issues and also plan changes that may affect the enhancement of ecological connectivity. Of course, this happened during the pandemic times, so we had to change our plans and organize them in mainly online, in some cases only on hybrid, but the results actually satisfied us a lot. Briefly again, this is the spatial model selection that we have used. Is the Continuum Suitability Index, has been developed since 2008 in the Alps through different projects from eConnect, Green Alps, Albionet. And now we decided to use it and to apply to this region. It's based on the evaluation of the permeability of these 5 factors, but mainly from expert evaluation. So we called several experts to evaluate how much of these factors are actually permeable in their area. So this is just an example. We give just numbers that are put together with this formula that was discussed a lot, how much each factor actually weighs in this model. And then we divided the results in 3 main areas called the strategic connectivity areas, where, so the first one, the SACA one, are also called ecological conservation areas and have the CSI more than 8 and has an extension of more than 100 hectares. These are, as I said, values that we decided through time that can be changed, but actually fit for our purposes. The second one, that is this example, are the development areas. So those who can be stepping stones, so those who have the potentials to be also a connection for the SACA 1 areas. And the number 3 are the barriers, so those who have to be restored. This is an example of what comes out from this model. So we are able to identify on the left-hand side the strategic connectivity areas of the whole project area, and then also we try to overlap with the current level of protection, so of the protected areas in the area. And we have seen that many SACA are not protected, many protected areas are not SACA. So actually there is not a complete overlapping, so there are still missing protection for some areas, or some protected areas are too small to be considered SACA. And also then we connect them using the least cost path approach. And we have seen that there are so many corridors. We can identify the most important areas for connectivity and put also some limits to the corridor, so less than 50 kilometers or long distance corridors, and also to identify this best path. So, and also for the threats, we checked how much these corridors are intersected by especially highways. We have found 108 ecological corridors intersected by highways, of which 60 are real physical motorways intersection, and also almost half of the linkages are intersecting intensive agricultural areas, and a third are passing through highly fragmented areas. So there is actually a lot of work to do. The round there is just the pilot area I'm talking now. So this is the pilot region between Croatia and Bosnia. There is a national park, another kind of protection areas. There are many species needed to protection, and the aim was to analyze corridors for brown bear and viper, and also to define action to preserve and restore grassland, and see how this could contribute to connectivity. So the SWOT regions identify many current and future threats and pressures, like the population, illegal logging. There are no green crossing on the highways. There is a lack of financing. There is a fragmentation of habitats. There is the absence of connectivity in legislation and in spatial planning. There are plans for new roads, pollution, and also insufficient knowledge, something that we have also heard from the presentation of Irene Lucius. It's something that is really common in all the areas. There are many strengths and opportunities, so to improve cross-border cooperation with NGOs, presence of protected areas, the rich biodiversity of the area. There are family farms, there is a sustainable tourism going on. There is this lack of linguistic barriers, why in this area, actually, more or less, they talk the same language, or they understand each other, and there is the will of cooperation. So this is what we wanted to look, so the ecological corridors and the preservation of grassland, because this is an important corridor between Nature Park and Natura 2000 site and the Ramsar site. So we decided to use this method, the spatial suitability analysis with the multi-criteria evaluation. And the steps are the selection of factors done with the local stakeholders and experts, the standardization, the weights, and the application of the geometric mean. So very briefly, because I'm running out of time, so we decided to take the relevance for connectivity, so the size of grassland patches, the socioeconomic factors and drivers, and the suitability for farming. We put all this together and gave them some weights according to the experts and stakeholders. And you can see the weights and why we decided to give these weights. And the results are this one. So we could already identify the grassland change between, these are data from 2000 to 2018, and then also to overlay with the livestock change and already identify the areas that are in balanced development, or that are in risk of overgrowing or the risk of overgrazing. These have to be taken into account when we then analyze through this model the preservation suitability. And then from this, we can already identify where potential corridors could be established. Yes, I'm finished. Then all these results are going to an action plan that we are going to produce for each pilot regions with general objectives and also objectives that are going to be done in 10 years and not even more. So it's a really long-term action plan. Just to finalize, it's important to have both the GIS analysis, the social impact, the economic potentials for connectivity. As I said, connectivity is not only an ecological thing. We have to involve stakeholders from the beginning. We have to think at the local, but of course in a bigger picture. Maps are really helpful for facilitating discussion, are very useful for make people understand what we are doing. It's important to create different scenarios of development and then also to discuss for each location the appropriate measures and outcomes, and also to build the capacity building of actors. I finish here. Thank you very much. And if you have questions, I'm here. Thanks.
Just a short question. Are your data for national overviews available? And can we get them for the Bison project?
You can see them. There is a web GIS that we have done. It's online. You can find it in the website of the Dinaric Connect project. And you can see what we have done. But you mean the raw data? We had to discuss about that. There are some legal things that we cannot provide directly the data.
Then we have to
But we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks to you. Okay, if we have no further questions, we have this. There is a question. Lazarus.
A practical one.
Yes.
I saw also Greek parties included.
Yes.
With who you are collaborating in Greece?
University of Athens.
Oh, okay, thank you. We'll
Yeah,
contact.
we talk also about that. Yeah. Okay. Hildegard.
I just see that this is a very exciting project, and thank you for the presentation. I also was thinking about Natura Connect and maybe involve you in this, because I see my role as a bit of a connector between the projects, because I was involed, or I know.
That would be great.
I saw.
Also because we were competitors in the Horizon. You won, and we honored to the winner.
Why we cannot work together? It's really a pity.
Doesn't matter.
The connects with Marita I made via your colleague Irene Bertoncelli. So they know already, but now I think it's a good.
Happy to cooperate.
Good.
Always. Thank you.
Just to let you